Hi, and welcome to this week's energy forecast. We are running a day behind. So, this week is for the week of July the 3rd through till July the 9th. So, first, before I go in and do the readings, I wanted to share a little bit about the energy that has been moving around. As you all know, we're bodies of energy where light transforms through. So, variances in energy can detrimentally affect us as humans. And sometimes we can have emotions that fly around and we're not really quite sure as to why we feel a certain way. So I just want to go in and discuss a little bit about that before we go in and do the weekly energy forecast. And you'll see that there is a reference point between the two. So we have another full moon coming on the 9th of July, which will be in Australia on a Sunday. So this full moon is really quite intense. I know that we say that about all full moons, but for this apparent full moon, there is a great deal of shift occurring within us. You're going to find that there are quite a few anomalies going on within your own self. I was only just chatting with a girlfriend about it the other day, and we were saying that this year is moving along so fast, but it's like we're not really getting an opportunity to catch ourselves, because there's these polarities of emotions. One moment that we're experiencing these amazing highs, and the next moment we're experiencing deep lows, and we no sooner get over one that the next occurs, and so we are feeling, for some people, like they're just chasing themselves. So I want you to remember that taking a moment to just stop and reflect is going to be a really great pivotal thing for you at this apparent time. Now, you'll be feeling, leading up to the full moon, there's going to be a great deal of transformation that occurs over the next coming month. So this is where it starts to get really exciting. But the transformation is going to come through pressure, through feeling these intensities of emotions that are coming up, to say, hey, I have absolutely had enough of feeling this certain emotion, feeling this certain way about myself. So the polarities of emotions are there to help you to break through. Now, I've always said, just before we start to experience a breakthrough, we can feel like we're having a breakdown. So if you feel like within your own head you're starting to feel like you're visiting Crazy Town, then you're right on track for just about being able to break through and bust through some of those limitations that you may have been limiting yourself around in lots of different areas. So you're going to find that there, for some people, that they are experiencing a great deal of resistance as they lead up to this transformation that's going to occur coming after with the full moon, but also following through for the next month. Now, that resistance can come in that change that your soul is wanting you to transform through. So you may find that addictive behaviors can come to the forefront, and addiction is not always just necessarily as far as like drugs and alcohol, cigarettes, those kind of things. Addiction for each person is so very, very different, and I want you to just sort of take away the connotation of being, most people, when they think of addiction, they think of extreme addictions. And I want you to just be aware that if you're doing something that you would normally do once in a blue moon, has now all of it become a habit that you're wanting to do every day, then you can see that that addictive behavior is starting to kick in. And that can be around food, it can be around sugar, it can be around soft drinks, it can be around those energizer drinks, coffee, addictive behaviors in emotional states, where if you're experiencing lows, keeping yourselves in those low points. For some people, when they feel that there's these intensities of emotions, can really withdraw. What are some of the other things that you could be experiencing? A disturbance in your sleep can happen, because it's like the mind is processing, but the body is tired and it's exhausted. So there's an imbalance between the mind, body, and soul connection. You can find that, what are some of the other things? That you're wanting to rebel. And that comes up and shows that resistance. And this is where that is addictive nature can come in. And this is where our limitations present themselves. So if you're finding that these things are coming to the forefront, I want you to first and foremost remind yourself that this is really being given to you as an opportunity to ask yourself, is this the way you wish to continue to be with yourself? Is this the way that you would like to experience the world right at this very given moment? And in that, allow yourself the space to explore what the answer means for you before thinking about justifying it, because it's not about justifying the behavior or justifying the emotion. It's about asking yourself, do you wish to have this in your world? Is this the way that you want your perception filter in which you see yourself within this world? Is this how you want to see yourself? And this is where you can find this resistance, because there's going to be a part of, for some people's brain, and look, I'm a Gemini, so I really experience these two different things. But feeling like there's one part of yourself that really wants to propel forward and know that there's this amazing greatness sitting on the other side, but you just don't know what's on, how to get over the other side. And there's another foot in that resistance or that rebellion that's like, I'm not going to be told what to do. So that taking a moment to reflect is about not being separated from self and feel like you're getting a push and pull in all various different directions. So the greatest gift that you can give to yourself through this shift in energy that's occurring is to self-care and self-nurture. Your soul is really requiring to be nourished right at this point. So go in and check in with yourself. What is it that you really need? Do you, sometimes the actions that we are doing through what we are rebelling can be our greatest gifts, because it is usually the polar opposite for what we require. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So say you're feeling really withdrawn from people. So the polar opposite is get back out and get back into social events. Call up girlfriends, make dinner dates, catch up over coffee, have a glass of wine, go and watch a movie. Take yourself out of that withdrawal state and put yourself back into being surrounded by people. There is this push-pull sort of motion of being very deep within our own thoughts. And I've always said it's always really great to have reflective moments, but reflective moments keep you here. If you're spending deep, intense thoughts around yourself, you're actually not recognizing the stop signs, and you will actually start to see that on an emotional level, you're starting to decline. And so therefore, this is the opportunity, as I said, if you're doing an addictive behavior, think of what the opposite is, and then not so much push yourself, but make yourself do that, because that is actually what your soul is wanting to do. And that's going to help break through that rebellion or that resistance phase that occurs when we're about to embark on really amazing transformations. The transformation that's going to occur with all of these emotions is about being able to manage and maintain them. And this is where that self-care and self-nurturing is going to become prevalent, because there's going to be this intensity of emotion surging through our physical structures. If we don't use that in a really, really constructive way, it's going to come out in destructive behaviors, like being explosive in the way that we communicate with others. We're going to be incredibly hard on our own self. So this is where it's vital to make sure that you are taking, and I think at this point, even daily moments to nurture and nourish yourself is going to be vital. And getting some form of physicality going, because intense emotions and intense energy shifts that occur really do wreak havoc on our physical structure. So even gentle exercise like going for a walk, turning music on and having a little bit of a boogie. If you're feeling like you need to do a bit of cardio, go for a run, ride your bike, whatever it is, the reason behind getting that physical structure moving is so that you can shift this dense energy that is sitting within your physical structure, also creating and increasing that intensity of emotional disturbance and energetic differentiation, because it's not only is it the thoughts that are creating and our actions and behaviors are being supported by it, but our physical structure is feeling this real, like I need to explode. So this is where exercise is going to become really, really important. So you want to have that really nice blend over this coming month between nourishing and doing things that are gentle. Now for ladies, that can be, and I don't mean just for ladies, men are more than welcome to do it too, but having a soak in the bath, you know, put in some beautiful aromatherapy candles to allow those beautiful essences from the oils to be able to help calm and center yourselves again. So pick out a scent that is incredibly beautiful, that really resonates with you, that allows you to just sort of come back and be present, and quietens and calms your whole nervous system, because the nervous system is going to get incredibly depleted over this next month. So I'll go in and talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So that nurturing and nourishing, you know, making sure you're eating nutritional food, even if you have the desire to go and eat junk food, resist that, and, you know, eat the good food first. And if there's still that desire to have a little bit of sugar, at least you're filled up on the good nutritional food, that you'll only eat a limited small amount of that junk food. So, and that nourishing that you're going to get from the vitamins and minerals from, you know, great fruit and vegetables and really healthy nutrition, is also going to be able to help support your physical structure, to be able to release some of that, almost as if it's like an anxiety feeling that could be occurring within your physical body. Listen to beautiful music that really resonates with you. If you're feeling explosive, put on music that explores, that allows you to be able to really like get your freak on, and have like, you know, a 5-minute like dance off session with yourself. If you feel that you need something a little bit more soft and nurturing, then put that on. And if that brings up some emotional states that makes you want to have a little bit of a cry, allow yourself that permission to be able to release that resurgence of energy that is surging through your body. Going for gentle walks, being in nature. So for some people, nature is like going out and being and surrounded by trees and greenery. And for some other people, it's going to be feeling the desire to get to the ocean. Each one of those is going to allow an equilibrium of bringing all separated parts back to self, and allow everything to equalize and bring back a beautiful unity within yourself. So be around people that are kind and supportive to you, and share with them how much you appreciate them being gentle with you, because there will be, through this disturbance of energies, there's going to be a vulnerability that reveals itself, because of those two minds going, I know that there is something great, yet still wanting to rebel. They will bring up a vulnerability in the middle, and it's how you get to express that. So you can either express that vulnerability through volatile, explosive ways, or you can allow yourself to express it by bringing in that gratitude aspect of being able to remind yourself of all the beautiful and great things that you have attracted into your world, and that are surrounding you each and every day, and are there to support you, especially at a time when you're feeling really vulnerable. So if you have beautiful, supportive people in your world, never underestimate the potential of how great it is to say to someone, thank you so much for always being there for me, or thank you for this beautiful quality that you bring into my world, or thank you for just being there for me. That makes an incredibly massive impact on other people's world, and it reminds you of that sense of gratitude and love that is just permeating and is always playing out in us every day, but we don't always take that opportunity. So that's where this reflection is an incredibly great time to be able to remind ourselves. So even if you were to, you know, nurture and nourish yourself through taking 5 minutes out. I do this within my intuition course. I have one lesson that's in there about creating morning rituals, and for the girls that I have in the course, which are fabulous, there is one lesson in there that we go through about creating powerful morning rituals. There's that saying, if you start your day off feeling incredibly on top of the world, then naturally you are going to be able to maintain and continue that, and it'll be amazing how different your world feels and looks to you simply through what you do in the morning. So for that first 5 minutes, and this is a ritual that you could do for yourself and get yourself into this practice, is to have 2 songs that you really, 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 really resonate with. And through one whole song, sit there and close your eyes and go through everything that you are incredibly grateful for. So you could, you know, remind yourself. And, you know, some days it's difficult. So I'm not saying sit there and pretend to yourself. Some days you may only be able to find that today the sun is shining and it looks beautiful out there. If that's all you've got, then even just enjoy that aspect, because for one moment you took a moment to just see that there is at least something beautiful within your world. So through one song, go through and remind yourself of all the things that you're incredibly grateful for. The next song choice that you have, go through and just sit there and allow yourself to engage in feeling all the love within yourself. So you may find that through times of difficulty, we can bring up beautiful memories to help us through these times. So if you're a mum, it could be a beautiful memory of giving birth to your child. It could be when you got married. It could be when you met someone, or a fun time that you had from when you were in your childhood. And allow that memory to engage in the love that's within you, and allow your whole body to fill up with all of that love. And once your body is completely filled with that love, allow it to feel and express itself out through your physical structure. That way, the energy of love is within you and it is being shared externally, and then radiating and vibrating this new frequency back out into the world. So it can be a really great ritual that you can embark on. So you may find that your song choices, you may want to think about, you may want to have music that really allows you to sit within those things that you're grateful for, and then have a shift of gear to be able to bring you back down into that space of love. And I always say, if you have them sitting on your phone, everyone at night that I know of goes to bed, charges their phone. If it's sitting there first thing in the morning, it could be the first 5 minutes that you give to yourself before you start the day. So have your earbuds sitting there, your phone's fully charged, have those two song choices sitting right in your playlist right at the very start, so that the moment you wake up and have a beautiful stretch, then you can put your earbuds in and actually do this exercise. Then what's going to happen is that you're going to feel a shift of energy within your physical structure, which is you're going to want to feel like you want to get some movement flowing through you. So most people are sort of usually getting up and then they're going in and have showers. So then this is where that for myself, I like to turn on like really cool music and have a little bit of a boogie while you're having a shower, and that way you're sort of taking care of everything on all various different levels. So it might be something that is a way in which that you continue to nurture and nourish yourself over this next coming month. Now, as I said to you, through this shift of energy that's occurring, and you'll feel that an anxiousness and adrenaline that is continuing to surge through your physical structure. That is an indication that your nervous system is being switched on, which means that you've gone into that flight or fight mode, which means that there is adrenaline that is continuing to surge through your physical structure. Now, the physical body is designed to use this fight or flight syndrome in a short duration of time. So in times of stress, to defend yourself, to run away from something, to overcome a fear. So it's usually for a term which we call short-term burst of energy. But when it becomes extended past short-term and we're using it long-term, what can happen is it's like having a car that's revving so high, eventually that car engine is going to stop. That same analogy is used within our physical structure. Our body is our vehicle in which houses our soul and allows us to be able to live within this reality. So if it has this high level intensity of adrenaline pumping through it, eventually something is going to start to become incredibly depleted. So you may find that you start getting colds and flus as a symptom that your adrenals could be getting fatigued or your immune system's down. You could find that your energy wavers, so you may be feeling moments and periods of deep exhaustion where you need to sleep a lot. These are all really great indicators, and the addiction for food can also come in and showcase that your body is working from an adrenaline-based phase, because for some people, when they've got high levels of adrenaline, they're going to want to chase it with coffee to be able to maintain that. For some people, they will have moments where they're going to want real salty foods or sugary foods in order to be able to get the energy resource from that to be able to get through the rest of the day. So those addictive behaviors that I spoke about at the start can also give you a very good indication that your physical body is also struggling at this time. So some of the really great things that you can do to be able to support your physical body so it doesn't stay at this level. There's so many incredibly great vitamins and minerals that are out there on the market that are there to be able to help support. And if you can give it the nourishment that it requires at this point, then that nervous system can switch off and you can come back to being in a center of calm. So there are lots of different things out there. So I'll give you just a few varieties. Through high levels of stress and with that intensity of adrenaline that's running through us, we end up with a great deal of stress cells running through our physical body. And so vitamin C is an incredibly great, I call it the Pac-Man of all vitamins, because it, like the Pac-Man game, it literally goes around the vitamin C and it collects and eats all of these stressor cells that are surging through our physical body and eats them up, and then it helps us excrete them out. So vitamin C is a really great scavenger to pick up all of the toxicity and the rubbish that is floating through our physical body, also encouraging that adrenaline to continue to surge through our physical body. So vitamin C is really great. Now you don't have to buy top of the range, just go, and even if you just buy the high brand one, whatever it is, and take the vitamin C. Vitamin B is going to be really great because your energy levels are going to become incredibly depleted. If you have vitamin B, and for a lot of women, they do know that vitamin B is a vitamin that a lot of women can lack in. So when we have these high emotional intensity levels, it's eating up our energy reserves. So we want to be able to replace them and replenish them very, very quickly. So a really good, this is the one where I say it's not, if you have the opportunity to buy the better quality vitamin B, that would be my biggest suggestion, because with the more expensive brands, you usually only have to take one vitamin, and the lower brand ones you need to take more of. And I know that in most cases, if you have to do a lot of something, we usually don't do it. Whereas if we only have to remind ourselves once a day, then we usually find that we can be able to maintain that. So vitamin is really good to be able to bring an equilibrium back to your energy levels and allow you to keep finding more harmony within your body, because you've got the energy reserves to be able to get through these intensities. Coenzyme Q10 is a really great vitamin to be able to help the body just become calm and relaxed. You can take St. John's wort as sprays to be able to help with that anxiety or that adrenaline that's pumping through your body, to bring it back to a center of calm. So whatever it is that you're feeling that you're lacking in, my biggest suggestion with this is go to the chemist and talk to them about some of the symptoms that are occurring for you, and they're going to be really great at being able to give you some advice on some of the things that they would recommend to you to be able to help support you through this time, because this is where we can end up becoming very sick, because all of our body is becoming so depleted because that adrenaline and that anxiousness, which sends even more adrenaline, is depleting everything, and so therefore we're more susceptible to colds and flus. So they're just a few suggestions on how to be able to navigate yourself through this full moon and moving into next month. So going back to this week's energy forecast, the cards that have come up, it definitely cracked me up because it really did align with the energy that is going around throughout there at the moment. So Monday is about, the card that's come up for that is called Shadow Self, and it says it's time to accept all parts of self. So as I just mentioned, I'll get that out, as I just mentioned about that rebellion and that wanting to resist that change. This is about coming from that place and allowing yourself to sit in that vulnerability, and rather than come from those two minds of having one foot and looking in the direction of knowing that there's great things and being stuck in that rebellious phase, choose to put the white flag up and surrender to both of them and come back to a point of being present within your moment. Because when you're thinking about the future, that can increase that level of anxiety because you want that so much because you just want to move away from the pain that you're experiencing. So, and what that does is it denies us the element of being present within this reality. And at the end of the day, all we have is today. No one is guaranteed tomorrow. So we could be worrying and stressing about all of these things when we don't know 100% what's going to be on the other side. So the more that you can stay present, the more you can connect in with what is really important for you for today and align yourself with that. And you'll find that there'll be less of this push-pull going on within yourself. So allow yourself to come from back, from out from behind the shadows. It's time to accept that there's all of these parts within us. These energies and emotions that I'm talking about are within every single person, and we experience them differently. Now, no one person's way in which they express it is better or worse than another. It is just the way that you have been learnt to being able to adapt and cope with certain emotional states. So it's a matter of like learning to come to that place. Allow that vulnerability. Just say to yourself, you know what? I can feel that there is, say for example, you wake up in the moment and you feel that real rebellious nature within yourself and you want to go and eat junk food, sit around and feel really terrible within your own self. Rather than emotionally beat yourself up because you feel that way, just give yourself that permission and go, you know what, I understand why I'm feeling this way, and remind yourself, whatever you are feeling, please do the opposite and in a way to be able to bring balance in. So if you're going, okay, I want to eat junk food and I want to withdraw and I want to just sit and feel sorry for myself, remind yourself, what are some of the things you could do? Okay, why not take yourself off and catch up with some girlfriends, go and have a beautiful meal somewhere and communicate, and then maybe afterwards go for a really nice walk. That way you've done the complete opposite and you haven't had this pulling and pushing that's going on within yourself, because you've just honored that it's okay that you feel that way. But as humans, we have choices, and this is what's going to be the most powerful thing that gets you through this month, is that everything we do comes down to a choice that we are making. So you can choose to experience these emotional states, but from a different polarity, from a place that is going to initiate you to feel good about yourself, break through those limitations and break through some of those old habits and behaviors. So Monday and Tuesday is about not resisting, about being present, and about accepting all of these parts of yourself. Because you know what, sometimes we only tend to focus on throughout these times on the areas that we deem not so great, and we fail to remind ourselves that there is absolutely magnificent and magic within each and every one of us. It's only where we give our permission to focus that becomes our reality. So, you know, we have a choice. So choose the way in which you want to see yourself, and this is exactly what's coming up for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday becomes this beautiful defining turning point where transformation starts to occur. So you'll start to see, hear, feel, and know that there is starting to be signs that are revealing itself to you that you're breaking through some of the limitations. And that could be that, you know, that desire to really connect in with your goals and dreams again, reminding yourself that you have all of these amazing resources within you that is going to help and engaging you to be able to get through this time. You may find that all of a sudden help starts coming to you, so support from outside is coming to help you whilst you chase your dreams. You may start finding that real grit, so that rebellion and that resistance, that takes a lot of determination. Like behind resistance and rebellion, there's a determination and strength and courageous person that is within you. So you can use those incredible resources to have a bit of an FU moment and go, you know what, FU, I'm not going to experience my world that way. I am so determined and I believe in myself. Yes, everything may not be amazing just yet, but I'm going to invest my time wisely, and I'm going to do these great things to nurture and nourish myself, because I do want to feel great about myself. Because you know what, feeling not so cool about yourself, it gets old very quickly, and the levels in which we can plummet, you know, we can just spiral downwards. And that's okay going down, but getting up, that's a long haul. And you really want to have to go through that. For anyone that has reached those emotional pits, um, the coming back, yes, it's like a hero story, but it consumes so much of yourself and robs yourself of so much joy sometimes. So there's that real FU moment that goes, you know what, I've seen the signs, I've recognized these elements within myself, I accept this, but I choose to make different decisions for myself, and I choose to believe in the greatness that is within me. And this is where Saturday and Sunday becomes up, and it's about that warrior queen. And that warrior queen and it is one of the most beautiful, the energy that comes from this card is incredibly beautiful, and the message that shares from it is, I think, at an incredibly impeccable time where we're going through these emotions. Sometimes, for people that have been following me, you've been hearing me say this is definitely the year to chase our dreams. Now, that push and pull and knowing that there's something great on the other side, but yet not knowing exactly what it is, can create quite a great of overwhelm, frustration, because we as humans, we feel like we need to have all of the answers before we can make steps forward. We feel like, well, I need to have at least step 1, 2, and 3 before I can even decide to invest my time and energy in that. And what this card is saying is that you may not have every single piece to be able to build out your dream just yet, but it will reveal itself to you. And to not look externally within yourself, this dream or this goal that you are really working so hard to achieve, regardless of how many obstacles you are overcoming, they are all building you in to be your own warrior queen. And what that means is that if we give ourselves permission, and I really use this word in the most beautiful connotation, because it is about giving ourselves permission to trust ourselves, to know that your soul has this incredibly beautiful master plan. Now, just because your human mind doesn't understand and have all of the pieces doesn't mean that your soul doesn't know what the next step is for you. The only thing it's going to take is a little bit of trust and a little bit of self-belief. And just because your dream is different than someone else's, the only person that has to believe in it, it is you. And on Saturday and Sunday, this is what that energy is about, is having to have that beautiful self-belief come through, which is going to bring through that courage. And most people think that self-belief and courage is having this great big, lion's roar screaming it to the world. And for some people, they do experience that, and that's cool. But for other people, it comes through in this beautiful, soft voice, this soft feeling. And that is why I've said to you, it's so vital to be able to check in with yourself so that you can become present, because the more that you're present, the more you can feel this softness of that determination and self-belief coming through and filtering into your world. You'll also be able to hear it because your mind is becoming quiet. So that is why it's so important to be able to nurture, give back to yourself, nourish yourself on all of the levels of self, of mind, body, soul, spirit, so that you can have these moments to be able to connect in with you. Because the more moments that you have the ability to connect in with the self-belief, that's all you need to continue to be able to start chasing your dreams. So with this new beautiful energy that's coming through on the weekend, this is where you may feel that desire for movement, to get out and start exercising, be really, really sociable, start really planning and mapping out. If your goal is just over the horizon, then write down all the steps that it's going to be able to take to be able to get there. So then you know exactly where to be able to distribute and channel your energy, rather than wasting it on lots of different areas in our world that our energy can be very, very depleted. And as I said, this month our energy levels are going to waver quite dramatically. So if you have an idea, a plan, something that you can visually see and things that you can tick off, not only is that going to encourage you to build in that self-belief, because every time you see that you have accomplished one task or taken one step, that's going to help you believe more within yourself that you can do this. You're also going to be able to see that this dream or this goal that you want is so much more than it just being about achieving it. It's about growing into the person, overcoming these obstacles, looking at the adversities that you have moved through to be able to move into the space, to be able to greatly own it and say, have so much respect and love and gratitude for myself because I didn't give up. Because these adversities and these moments where we are emotionally getting these pulls and pulls are those moments where self-doubt really creeps in, and self-doubt can be one of the greatest destroyers of dreams, and that is not what I want for you. So having a plan, and it's not a plan of attack. What it is it's being able to know, well, if I've only got this short distribution of energy, I want to be able to channel it in the direction that is going to be able to continue for me to build trust in this dream that I have, be able to encourage more self-belief within myself. And by every little step that I take towards it, I know deep within my soul that I am connecting in with what I'm so incredibly passionate about. And that passion is going to come through in being able to help you live your purpose, because our dreams align with our purpose, and that's a beautiful thing. So you'll find that come the weekend from Wednesday onwards, that you're going to feel that there is more. If you can navigate through this times and take some of the tips that have shared with you today, even if there's just one or two tips, and keep that in the forefront of your consciousness to remind yourself, to help keep yourself in a more balanced and harmonious way, you're going to be able to navigate through this time. And also, maybe you want to have a look at, are there some vitamins and minerals that I may need to be able to help support myself at this time? If not, what are some of the food channels that I can give to myself that are going to have those vitamins and minerals to be able to help support, replenish myself, and discharge any toxicity that's sitting within our own self. So I wish everyone an incredibly amazing week, and always remember, your dreams are designed with you in mind. So sometimes when we're looking external for reassurance that we're on the right track, we're looking external and out of ourselves. All of the answers you are ever looking for are deep within you. So connect in with you. Ask yourself, what is it that you need right now? And believe me, your soul will find a way to be able to communicate exactly what you need for your journey right now. So have an amazing week. Much love to you all, and take care. And if this video resonates with you, please feel free to share it.